Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner, Avery Davidson, is off. You now have a new way to get agricultural observations and opinions from a farm broadcasting legend. Jack Dillard is now posting his weekly columns on the Voice of Louisiana Agriculture website and in the Daily Voice email. As TWILA's Avery Davidson shows us, that column has been a labor of love for more than half a century.
The sound of letters impacting the page mark a weekly ritual for Jack Dillard, a ritual this Oklahoma native has maintained since 1959. That was the year he stopped working as a county extension agent in Longview, Texas, and extended his message to the airwaves of KWKH radio in Shreveport, Louisiana.
The boy that was there doing the farm news decided he wanted to go into picture radio, that's television, and he did, and they offered me the job. Never been on the radio a day in my life. My college degree was in animal husbandry.
The owners of KWKH also own the Shreveport Times. They asked Dillard to write a weekly newspaper column.
We are agriculture. I was in agriculture and got in radio. I was in agriculture and got into newspaper. But my basis is still agriculture.
That basis made Dillard a pioneer in farm broadcasting. As Carrie Martin with the Voice of Louisiana Agriculture Radio Network pointed out to Dillard, the book chronicling the first 60 years of farm broadcasting has an interesting entry in the Louisiana chapter.
Look at this, KWKH Shreveport.
Huh.
Jack Dillard.
Didn't even know it was in there. Good gracious.
Dillard says back then he was doing 7 programs a day, 5 days a week, and 4 on Saturday.
Early to bed, early to rise, work real hard and fertilize, and no troubles whatsoever.
From his home in Wascom, Texas, Dillard still does radio reports. All of the commercials are done live. Dillard says he never tries to sell products. He sells people.
When you look at the microphone that I broadcast on, that's another person out there I'm visiting with that day. My programs are ad lib. That doesn't mean that's the best way. In fact, I don't fit very well in this modern way of everything graphicked out ahead of time. But you're visiting. Also, I'm promoting agriculture and the people of agriculture. Trust. That's what agriculture has. Honesty. That's what agriculture has. Integrity, that's what agriculture has. All you got to do is tell the story, and the story will add the validity to it.
Dillard says there's a good reason why people in agriculture have those qualities. It goes back to the good book.
And you see the Lord in the sod, the soil, the seed, the plant, and the crop. You see it grow. You can relate to it.
And folks can continue to relate to Dillard through his written word. I'm Avery Davidson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Again, you can find Jack Dillard's column on the Voice of Louisiana Agriculture website or have them sent to your inbox via the Daily Voice e-newsletter. We put a link on our website, twilatv.org, and Dillard will also provide his perspective on the Voice of Louisiana Agriculture podcast hosted by Carrie Martin. Well, the Louisiana legislature recently passed a measure legalizing hemp growth. Governor Edwards signed the legislation, and it's now waiting for regulation from the Department of Agriculture. This week, TWILA's Neil Melanson takes a look at both the sky-high promises for this crop and some down-to-earth reality.
There's been a lot of discussion around hemp farming in Louisiana, and if it seems like a wild new frontier, you're right, at least according to one Kentucky hemp farmer. At the recent Louisiana Farm Bureau convention, Joseph Siss came to talk his potential Louisiana counterparts back down to earth.
No CBD production is handled the same. There is no standard. You have multiple people buying and multiple methods. Some buy by weight, some buy by plant, some buy by oil content at the end. And so There is no, the key differences there is there would be no standardized pricing ahead of time unless you are trying to grow it, do a contract grow for a processor.
Sisk said farmers can expect between $10,000 and $12,000 per acre in seed genetics alone. There's also overhead and permits, inspections, and making sure the seed is feminized. More importantly, he said, ask a lot of questions of the people you're dealing with.
There may be some talk when they deal with somebody of something being a patented situation or being top secret or some cloak and dagger talk, and I would avoid that. In my experience in Kentucky, that has led to some heartache. There really are no secrets in this. Most of this stuff is out in the public domain at some level.
Sisk told us he did not want to discourage farmers from growing hemp. They just need to be prepared for a lot of expense, pitfalls, and manual labor.
I think it's like everything else in farming. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. This is hard work. It's farming like everything else I've done in farming. And there is money to be made in it, but you're going to have to be real savvy about it. The hardest thing that you'll deal with as a farmer is the business end of this, is getting paid and aligning yourself with people that are real.
One of the restrictions on the biggest hemp product, CBD, is that it must be sold as food or cosmetics, not as a dietary supplement like it's mostly sold for. Louisiana will likely have to wait until the FDA makes some type of ruling on CBD before it can be mass marketed as that anti-inflammatory that many people use it for. And Kristen, of course, with this product, and with every type of this market situation with hemp, it's that it's got all this promise and it's got this Wild West kind of thing going on, but everything has to be built from the ground up, so to speak. Not just the crop, but all the marketing stuff, all the, everything that has to go along with it. And it may not be cracked up for what it's been sold for.
Well, it's going to be a long process to create that ground up processing plant and all the different things that go along with it. And it's going to be kind of expensive, I think, for farmers to get into the actual regulation part of it.
As you heard, it's like $12,000 for the
license.
genetics just alone, the licensing of it. And so it's, that's just before you even plant seed number one.
Well,
So
I was really glad that they had a guy like that could,
he was great.
bring people back down to earth.
Yep, absolutely.
He was. Great story, Nimala saw. Well, the Louisiana Rice Research Board is taking steps to make sure the LSU Ag Center and H. Rouse Caffey Rice Research Station has an endowed researcher and money to further the industry. At the 110th Annual Rice Field Day, Rice Research Board Chairman Richard Fontenot presented the LSU Ag Center with donations totaling $1.5 million on behalf of the board. The Rice Field Day is one of the biggest events of the year at the Rice Research Station, with tours going from field to field to learn about the future of the rice industry. Louisiana Farm Bureau President Ronnie Anderson says the work done here is important to the state and that all Farm Bureau members should be involved in research and extension.
As you know, rice prices have been really off for the last few years, and the thing that's keeping our people in production is the techniques, the new varieties, the new methods of production, the new avenues that they're opening up for trade. So it's very important for us to be part of this.
Congressman Ralph Abraham was the keynote speaker at the event. He spoke to the crowd about the USMCA trade deal that has yet to go before Congress and its importance to the Louisiana rice industry. Well, each year, the North Louisiana Agribusiness Council gets some fresh pickings in the form of the Specialty Producer of the Year. As TWILA's Tammy Arender shows us, this year's top pick is celebrating in his own unique way.
Here at Produce Ridge in Pioneer, Louisiana, the first rays of sunshine have to play catch-up with Charles Holly. He's already laying out his buckets for the first light produce picking.
Squash and cucumbers you have to pick like every 48 hours, no matter what.
Holly was raised on this land in West Carroll Parish, and his love for growing things was passed down from his father.
It started with, get up boys, it's time to go pick peaches, when I was just a youngster at home.
But he's not just peddling peaches. He's got some 25 varieties of fruits and vegetables, and varieties of veggies. Holly has an app to keep up with it all.
June Gold, Harvester, Ranger, Red Glow, Bounty, Loring, Belle of Georgia, Alberta, Monroe.
He and his sidekick Sophie select the squash, the cucumbers, peaches, and eggplant for the day's haul to the Monroe Farmers Market. It's more than an hour's drive, and he's normally there by 6 a.m.
One that's got a little green and a little red. You're going to get both the sweet and hard. You see your product that you're growing, and I can't wait to see those folks' faces when they see these tomatoes or these cucumbers or these peaches or they taste that cantaloupe or eat that watermelon.
Meanwhile, back on the farm, the whole family is involved. Granddaughter Addie is rattled out of bed just after daybreak to help wash and prep the produce. Wife Lisa is busy in the kitchen, turning some of their fruits into all-natural spreads and ice cream. Creamy, old-fashioned homemade ice cream featuring their homegrown fruit. The Hollies even invite folks to come out and sit a spell, listen to some music, and celebrate their bounty. On this weekend, it's the Tomato Festival, featuring some toe-tapping music from Mike McKenzie and Mater and bacon sandwiches.
Good.
Is it really that good?
It's really that good.
Good enough to make you get up and dance a jig here on Produce Ridge, bringing happiness to the Hollies.
It's a passion. It's not a have-to thing. It's a passion. You love it. Just like I love cooking, he loves raising it.
We have people coming from Monroe and farther, and they'll tell me, we don't want to leave. I said, I know what you're talking about, because I haven't left in 50 years.
In Pioneer, I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
The next big event at Produce Ridge will be on July 20th when Charles Holley will have his very own Watermelon Festival. Still to come on TWILA, it's time for another Field to Feast. Jennifer Finley takes us south of Bourbon Street for some Louisiana beef that's a cut above the rest. Stay with us.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana's local ingredients. Today we are in the heart of the French Quarter during Farm Bureau Convention at Sobu Restaurant. My good friend, Executive Chef Tori McPhail, is going to cook beef for us and serve it to me and Amelia Kent.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
So we're in the French Quarter kitchen here at Sobu with Executive Chef Tori McPhail, and we're going to make this tomahawk cut beef ribeye roast.
Well, this is an impressive piece of meat, Jen. So this is the ribeye, typically what you'd find in a regular grocery store. The only difference here is when they go to harvest the animal, right, they leave the ribs on longer, and they just take the meat out between the ribs. That's called Frenching, and it just means it's a nicer presentation once you have an incredible piece of Louisiana beef.
I have never seen anything like this.
So if you're really looking for one piece in the grocery, the piece you really want is this one singular muscle here that's a little bit cleaner that way. Okay, we're gently gonna slide long, slow movements all the way down. And what you're left with is this unbelievable, gorgeous piece of beef that resembles a bit of a tomahawk.
Oh,
okay?
I finally get it.
And that's just an amazing and very impressive piece of beef, huh?
It's wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful.
So for this guy, we're gonna add, it's a big piece of meat. This probably weighs about 3.5 pounds, okay? So don't be bashful, right? We live here in Louisiana, right? We love our seasoning. Yeah, okay?
Bold seasoning.
That's it. So you see how much salt is here, right? A good amount of salt, and you always want to do salt first, because what happens when salt meets moisture, it starts to melt, it starts to break down, okay? If I was to add the pepper first, pepper's very dry, okay? And it kind of creates a barrier.
How have I known you 20 years, and this is the first time I've heard you say that.
Is that right?
Yes.
It's very true, so always salt first. I'm gonna show you a trick here with the grill. Okay, we don't want to add too much dried spices, any herbs on top of it, because the grill's going to be so hot, it's going to scorch and burn. Okay, so for something like this, it's a gorgeous cut of beef. We want to just showcase the natural flavor of the beef. So just salt, just pepper, real simple perfection on amazing beef. Okay, good. Let's go to the grill.
Let's go.
All right, so we have our gorgeous gas-burning grill here, and you can grill this on anything you want. The important thing here, regardless of the brand or where you're at, inside, outside, what have you, is the temperature of the grill. Okay, so we've got this handy-dandy thermometer. Okay, and this basically, it's an infrared our laser thermometer. You can kind of see how it's looking about 600 degrees.
That's hysterical because that's the exact temperature it is outside right now.
It is warm. It's summertime in the French Quarter, right? So you want to take this and crank it as high and as hot as you possibly can, right? You find the sweet spot, and we'll start to go for that.
Right there.
Okay.
It's moving. Okay, it's right there.
There you go.
It's right there. But
Right
so
in the middle. All right, Jen. All we're really trying to do here is mark it. So look at those gorgeous grill marks.
Goodness.
That's amazing, right? So we just want to turn it 90 degrees. So the bone's out this way. Gently gonna flip it this way. Okay, so you kind of get that hash mark. All we're really trying to do is mark it for presentation and flavor. And after that, we're gonna roast it the rest of the way. So the oven right now is preheated for about 350 degrees.
Okay.
All right, that's gonna be a nice kind of mid-range temperature to try to do the chop and the potatoes at the same time. Look at how great that looks. It's
So
bubbling,
pretty.
gorgeous, right?
Gorgeous.
Okay. So we're just gonna sear it on this side as well. And again, we're gonna try to encourage the Maillard reaction, that caramelization of the beef. After that, we're gonna pop it gently in the oven. And we're gonna get right to our potatoes.
Encourage the Maillard reaction.
That's it.
Get set. What's next?
All right, Jen, now that our steak is in the oven, we're gonna get to our potato gratin. Again, this is really easy. It's not intimidating at all. But today,
I love the way you say that.
gratin.
Thank you for saying
There you
that.
go. But today we're going to use Louisiana sweet potatoes too. You know, I'll kind of keep it right here at home. Generally, it's about 2 to 1. Okay, sweet potatoes generally are a little bit larger. So I've got 1 sweet potato, 2 regular russet potatoes.
Okay.
Not a big deal. Okay. And at this point, we're going to add in a little bit of caramelized garlic.
So you just did this earlier in a skillet.
That's exactly it. So garlic, a little bit of caramelized onions, and you can use any type of onion you want. Okay. And here we're going to use
Salt first.
salt first, exactly, because it's going to break down. The other thing we're going to use is some Parmesan cheese.
Oh,
So a
okay.
second ago we talked about craveability, okay? But Parmesan cheese, shiitake mushrooms, some of those ingredients are high in glutamate, which is that craveability that releases endorphins in the brain. We're just going to pour in some heavy cream.
So far we have sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, caramelized onions, garlic, salt, pepper, and heavy cream.
That's it. Okay?
That is easy.
And it's like typical stuff you're going to find in your normal pantry. We're going to take this to the oven, and then we're going to flip our steak over and see how it's doing. Okay?
All right,
Yeah,
I'm
come on.
ready.
We're gonna make a really simple sauce. It's called chimichurri. Okay, kind of like a South American bit like a pesto. Here's gonna add some garlic first. After that, we're gonna add some red chili flakes. We're also gonna add in some fresh lemon peel. The lemon rind itself has got so much natural aromatics to it. You're gonna want that, so it's nice and expressive once it hits that hot piece of meat. You're gonna add some fresh lemon juice also. Basically, 1 part lemon juice, 3 parts olive oil. In the mix of the whole thing, we've got our fresh herbs. Okay, so here we've got.
Wait, let me guess. 2 parsleys, 1 basil, and a cilantro.
Very nice. The thing about cilantro makes it a little different than the rest of the herbs is that the stem itself. Check this.
I love cilantro.
So the stem has just as much flavor as the leaf. So you always want to add your cilantro stems into it. So we're also going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese.
Oh, that looks so pretty.
And that's just gorgeous, right? All right, Jen, our chimichurri sauce is done. Our potatoes are coming out of the oven. The steak's already in the side of the grill. I gotta tell you, man, I am so excited to meet our buddy Amelia. What an amazing woman.
Yes, I agree. So let's go get plated up and head to the dining room.
All right, come on.
We're in the dining room here at SOBU, which stands for South of Bourbon, and Amelia Ken is joining us. We are so excited to have her. Chef Tori is about to serve us some of this fantastic beef. Are you ready to eat?
I am.
Awesome. Here he comes.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Look at this.
So it all starts with the main ingredient, this beautiful Louisiana beef. Today we've chosen this gorgeous tomahawk chop. Right, you're with me in the kitchen. Just very simple, right? We want to let the true flavor of the beef stand out.
So my husband and I farm in East Feliciana Parish, so just north of Baton Rouge. We both come from a farming background. When we met, we each had cattle of our own. So through the course of planning a wedding and relocating was also combining farms. You hear a lot of challenges about young people not being able to get into farming, and or maybe not being able to access land, and that has not been our experience. We're very fortunate. So today our farm encompasses a cow herd that's a little bit shy of 300 head.
People aren't born and raised like we were. You know, people don't eat like our grandparents did. And so to have this connection to food from our own culture, from our own pastures, from our own friends around the state, for me that really helps to connect the dots, right? And really kind of tell our story a little bit better. I mean, they're coming to Louisiana because our food is famous. You know, our music is famous, our culture is famous. And people want the real deal. They want that organic, original, authentic feel when you come here. And so we built Sobu, south of Bourbon, in this tiny little section, like micro section of the neighborhood, to be kind of a Louisiana street food, Creole, Caribbean little sister to Commander's Palace. We do burlesque brunch every Sunday morning.
Really?
And it is just fun.
Join me.
It is a blast. It's a kick in the pants, man. It's so much fun.
Sounds that way.
Yeah, we kind of call it legs and eggs.
So a lot of it is our seasoning, our flavor, and our local ingredients. But I am particular about the passion that I'm seeing from our farmers. You obviously love what you do.
I've been immersed in agriculture from many different perspectives throughout my life. Now, I did go to college on the East Coast, to a liberal arts college, where I was able to firsthand witness the sheer disconnect in consumers from food supply. So very different from how we grew up. I went to a good school, and to see incredibly intelligent people genuinely think the food chain starts at the grocery store has been, I'd say, my primary motivator in being an advocate for agriculture. And farming has been in my blood from the word go. Even when it was time to be interviewing for corporate jobs, I was not, because I'm going to the ranch.
Absolutely.
We love what we do. We are proud of the products we produce, and we're behind the curve in telling the story.
Well, you are an amazing person to be telling that story. I am in complete awe of everything that you have to offer, and I'm so happy that you came to join us here at Sobu to enjoy some of Tori's food.
Yes, likewise. I so wish that everyone watching could taste that, because that has to be one of my favorite steak dishes or steak bites of all time. So thank you.
Ladies, cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Awesome. And we'll see you next time on Field to Feast.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board. Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat. By the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner. And by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Cities and towns all across the state are holding fireworks displays to celebrate Independence Day, summer, and other hometown traditions. And many rural areas host fireworks shows at large farms to offer an unobstructed view of the display. At this farm in Oxnard, Connecticut, a team of FPV drone pilots captured a spectacular bird's eye view of the fireworks show. We hope you enjoy. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll check in at the grocery store to see what your summer cookouts are going to cost these days. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.